Plate tectonics. The ground beneath our feet is always moving. We don't feel this movement, but we can see the result of this movement almost everywhere. The Earth's crust is what moves. Our planet outer shell is not one piece, but instead it is made up of individual pieces. Plates, they were all part of the continent that broke up over 200 million years ago. Since then, it hasn't stopped moving. This is called tectonics. Plates that cover with soil is continental plate, and plates that are covered with water are oceanic plates. The movement of this plate causes earthquake and volcanic eruption. In the early 20th century, a scientist named Alfred Wegener called this subcontinent Pangaea. He thought different chunks of it broke off and slowly moved apart over the millions of years. They formed the continent that we know today. Where two plates meet, a plate boundary or plate tectonic occurs. There are three main types of plate boundaries: convergent boundaries, divergent boundaries, and transform boundaries. A convergent boundary where two plates collide, a divergent boundary where they pull apart, and transform boundary where they slide past each other. Let's talk about these three boundaries in detail. Convergent plate boundaries occur when two plates collide with each other. There are two major types. First is continental to continental. These occur when two plates of continental collide, they buckle and they form mountains. Next we have continental to oceanic collisions. When the plates of the oceanic crust collide with the plate of the continental crust, the oceanic crust is more thick and subject beneath the continental crust. The magma from the melted oceanic crust rises to the surface, and this resulted in the volcanoes over the surface of the earth. Next we have divergent boundaries. This is when two plates move away from each other. The separation allows the asthenosphere rises towards the surface, partially melts. This melting creates magma which erupts in the form of lava. Lava cools and solidifies to create new rock. It creates oceanic floor or new continental crust. Most of these divergent boundaries are located on oceanic floors. However, the rift valley may also form when the continental is separated from each other. Transform boundaries occur when two plates move past each other horizontally. When the plates move next to each other, they do not go along smoothly. Instead, they move away from each other. This sudden movement crushes the rock, and this can be felt as earthquakes. Unlikely from other types of boundaries, the transform boundaries generally do not produce magma. The San Andreas cracks in California is the major transform boundaries. So there we go with the three types of plate boundaries: convergent, divergent, and transform. Rocks and minerals. As you may already know, the Earth's crust is made up of rocks. If you look closely at rock, you see that there are many different bits. These bits are shiny. The main idea is that all these components occur naturally. In other words, they are not made in a factory or by human being. The naturally occurring elements or compound is known as mineral, or is simply a rock contain high percentage of a certain mineral. For example, hematite contains a high percentage of iron. The earth crust are made up of three types of rock. They are igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. Let's discuss about them. The word igneous has been derived from a Latin word that is ignis, which means fire. These rocks are associated with volcanic eruptions. Let's study more about igneous rock and how they are formed. The liquid rocks matter that is coming out as a volcano is called magma. It is a hot liquid made of melted minerals. When this magma reaches the earth's surface, it is known as lava, as shown over here. The cooling and solidification of lava at the earth's surface resulted in the formation of extrusive igneous rocks, which are also known as volcanic rocks. Due to rapid cooling, the crystals are fine-grained. However, some of the magma cannot come out and settles inside the surface, as shown over here. The magma cooled slowly beneath the earth's surface as it is completely surrounded by soil and rock. The cooling and the solidification of the magma at the depth within the earth's crust resulted in the formation of rocks having large crystals known as intrusive igneous rocks. So, we learned that igneous rocks are of two types: extrusive igneous rocks and intrusive igneous rocks. It is interesting to know that the igneous rocks were first to be formed and are also known as primary rocks. Over time, the rocks are broken down by weathering effects like water, wind, heat, or ice. Small fragments known as sediments wash into lakes, rivers, and sea. Here, layers of sediments are compact and cement together over millions of years to form sedimentary rock. Limestone is the other kind of sedimentary rock. It is formed from the dead aquatic animals or chemical reaction within the sediments. Did you know the ground beneath our feet is constantly moving? The continents and oceanic crust are pushing, pulling, and sliding in the process known as plate tectonics, and they form heat and pressure that squeezes rocks, changing their form. Minerals under such intense pressure are changed into metamorphic rock. Slate, marbles are the example of metamorphic rock. Now let's talk about rock cycle. This is the picture of a rock cycle. So now rocks remains same with time, pressure and other natural force they form. Remembered, we call igneous rocks as primary rocks. The reason is because they are directly formed from the magma and lava when this molten material solidifies. So anything that is basically formed from the basic ingredient of the earth is termed as to be as primary rock. The sedimentary and the metamorphic rocks are called as secondary because they are formed from igneous rocks. You see, igneous rock is the reason why sedimentary and metamorphic rock exist. Let's understand the cycle. Magma coming out of the mantle through volcanic eruption. Now this magma cools down and becomes solid crystal, and that is how igneous rocks are formed. Now as time passes, various weathering agents like wind, rain, glacier activities acts on this igneous rock, and they slowly breaks into small pieces called sediments. And these small sediments are buried under layers over layers with time and pressure. They cement together into sedimentary rock. So that was the formation of sedimentary rock from igneous rock. Now this sedimentary rock had the tendency to break into smaller soil particles or sediment. Now we need to know how metamorphic rocks are formed. When Earth's tectonic plates move around, it produces heat and pressure. When the plates converges, there they form mountains, and that also produces tremendous amount of heat and pressure. Now we know from where the heat and pressure comes from. What does this heat to the rocks? It transforms into the metamorphic rock. That's why you see more amount of metamorphic rock in mountain region. With nature forces, that is natural forces like wind and water, this metamorphic rock can again be broken into sediment and sediment to sedimentary rock. The rock cycle never stops. The metamorphic and the igneous find their way into the mantle through subduction. It happens when the two plates converges and then one plate goes under another. In this way, all igneous and metamorphic rocks find their way to the mantle. And we know mantle consists of molten rocks called magma. And again magma comes out of the surface through volcanic activity. So this is the rock cycle. So here we end with this chapter. I hope you will have understood the concepts of this chapter. Thank you. Soil. Soil is the uppermost layer of the earth's surface, which supports life, and it is found everywhere. Have you ever thought why soil is so important? Soil is needed for the growth of plants. It binds the root of plants tightly and supply water and other nutrients to the plant. Without soil, we cannot obtain food. Moreover, many living organisms live in the soil. So we can say that soil is very essential part of our life. Soil composition. Soil is a mixture of water, air, parent rock and other organic matter. Over time, this four components combine together to form healthy fertile soil. Soil composition is same as every place. It depends on the rock from which it has been formed and the type of vegetation that grows in soil formation. Can you tell how does the soil form? Soil was formed over a very long period of time. Large rocks were broken down into small pieces and finally it is converted into soil by the action of wind, water and climate in a process called weathering or denudation. All decaying of dead plants and remain of animals make the soil thick and rich and usable for the environment. Soil is based on the physical and chemical properties, that is age, texture and color. So, soil is formed over a million of years by weathering of rocks and also by natural agents like temperature, climate, wind, glaciers and running water. The important factors that influence soil formation are as follows. First is relief. Second is primary rock. Third is vegetation and other life forms. Soil contains inorganic and organic matters such as humus. Soils in India can be classified as alluvial, black soil, red and yellow soil, laterite, arid or desert soil, forest or mountain soil, and finally it is peat soil, that is petty soil. Let's start with alluvial. The northern plains of India are made up of fertile alluvial soil, which extends from Gujarat and Rajasthan through a narrow route found by the Indus, that is Satluj, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra rivers. Alluvial soil are also found in the eastern coastal plains and deltas of the Godavari, the Mahanadi, the Krishna and the Kaveri. Alluvial soil is a mixture of sand, silt and clay. The new alluvial soil is called khadar, which is in small particles and have fine texture. The old alluvial soil is called bangar, found near the river valleys, are rough and contains more pieces of rocks called kankar. In other words, khadar is more fertile than Bangar. The fertile alluvial soil is rich in potash, phosphoric acid, and lime. Crops like sugarcane, wheat, rice, pulses, and cereal crops are grown in this soil. Black soil, it is also called Rigar, is found in the Deccan Plateau, spread over Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. Black soil is formed by the climatic conditions and breaking down of volcanic rocks formed in this region. Black soil is rich in calcium carbonate, potash, magnesium, and lime. It also have good water absorption properties due to small fine clay particles. However, it is full in phosphorus, which is very important nutrients in the soil. As it is more suitable to the cotton, the soil is also called as black cotton soil. Red and yellow soil are found in southern and eastern part of Deccan Plateau, West Bengal, Maharashtra, and some parts of Orissa and Chhattisgarh. The red color is due to the presence of iron in the rocks from which the soil was formed and appear yellow when wet. The high iron content makes this type of soil good for cultivating various types of grams, groundnuts, and castor seeds. Laterite soil. The name laterite is derived from the Latin word later, which means a brick. So laterite soil is usually used to make bricks. Laterite soils are found in Kerala, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, and Assam. All these areas experience high temperature and heavy rainfall. This soil is developed by leaching due to heavy rainfall. Laterite soil is low in organic components and can be made usable when the adequate fertilizers and pesticides are added into it. It is good for the cultivation of tea, coffee, and cashew nuts. Arid or desert soil. It means dry. Due to its name, desert soil is found in western region of Rajasthan and parts of Kutch region in Gujarat. That's why these places receive very less rainfall and has sandy texture. Due to high temperatures and high climate, desert soil is low in moisture and organic content and has high salt content. Salt content is so high due to which common salt is obtained by evaporation process. Forest or mountain soil is found in the mountainous region of Himalayas from Jammu, Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. Most of these regions experience a cool climate with abundant rain and snowfall. The texture of the mountain soil varies from coarse grain on the mountain slopes to the lower in river valleys. Mountain soil in snow-covered areas is often acidic and low humus content. However, wheat, rice, sugarcane, and oilseeds are cultivated in forest soil of many parts of Jammu and Kashmir and Andhra Pradesh. Now, last is peat or petty soil. These soils are marshy soil and are a result of waterlogging over the surface of earth. This leads to partial decomposition of organic material. They are founded in areas of heavy rainfall, high humidity, where there is good growth of vegetations. It occurs widely in the narrow path of Bihar, the southern part of Uttarakhand, and the coastal areas of West Bengal, Orissa, and Tamil Nadu. These soils are normally heavy and black in color. These soils are characterized by rich in humus and organic content. There is a presence of iron and amount of organic matter. These soils are generally acidic in nature, but in many places they are alkaline also. Peaty soils are generally submerged under water during rainy season and are utilized for the cultivation of rice.